So as you know, I am the Neighborhood Services District 4 Coordinator. My name is Sandy Pantoja. And Neighborhood Services serves as a single point of contact for the residents in need of assistance. If you have any questions, ideas, concerns about your neighborhood, we are here to help, and you can reach out to us at any time. Neighborhood Services facilitates a citywide effort to improve the livability of Anaheim neighborhoods by helping create partnerships between the city and other community-wide resources. District community meetings are part of the Neighborhood Improvement Team program to improve the neighborhoods through a coordinated interdepartmental approach. Please feel free to contact me at any time if you have any questions. My cards are in the back in our resource table. There are many resources and flyers in the back of the room for you to take home. And if you need additional ones to take to your neighbors, like the bulky item pickup information, please contact me and I will deliver those to you as well. Please note that the City of Anaheim, in partnership with various community organizations, is hosting the Anaheim Health Fair on November 6th and 7th at the Anaheim Convention Center. The event will provide residents with a variety of free health services, and the flyers are in back of the table. And if you also need additional of those, please let me know and I will provide those for you. Additionally, your involvement is important. We invite you to attend the next meeting of the Police Review Board on Thursday, October 28th at 6 p.m. The flyers are also in the back of the room. The Anaheim Police Review Board is a way for residents to have a voice in how our police department serves the city. It has 7 members who represents all of our city council districts and who care about the issues in our neighborhoods. Through the year, the Police Review Board receives the input from the public and outside auditor and the police department leadership to make recommendations to the city manager about improving the police department policies. You are invited to participate in the meeting on October 28th. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to provide your contact information, which is on our sign-in sheets, so we can keep you posted with upcoming meetings and events that we are hosting. Please remember to obtain a ticket for an opportunity prize this evening, courtesy of the Anaheim Public Utilities. Let's begin our meeting by inviting city staff in front of the room to introduce themselves.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and start. I'm Anaheim Sporn, Community Services Manager.
Good evening, Andrew Marcus, Anaheim Public Utilities.
Natalie Rudemakin, Community Engagement Manager for Anaheim Fire and Rescue.
Yasmin Watts for the libraries.
Sandy Loza, Code Enforcement.
Jennifer Hall, Assistant City Clerk.
Mark Lillimon, the Community Policing Team.
Andre Bradley, Community Policing Team.
Good evening, everyone. Teresa Bass, City Clerk.
Andy Nogel, Community and Economic Development.
Good evening, everyone. Rafael Cobian, Public Works. Carlos Urquiza, Neighborhood Services Provider.
Thank you so much, city staff, for being here. I would like to introduce District 4 Council Member Avelino Valencia. He will be here for the entirety of the meeting, and if you have any questions, he'll be here to answer any of them. Thank you. Let's move on with our agenda. First, we have Natalie Rudemakin with Fire and Rescue to talk about CERT and disaster preparedness.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending today. As Sandy mentioned, my name is Natalie Rudemakin, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Anaheim Fire and Rescue. And today I'll be giving you a few updates of our department, as well as going into a little bit more about our CERT and Emergency Preparedness Program. Recently, you probably have heard about our new ambulance operator program. In 2020, our City Council voted to transition out of care ambulance and into an in-house emergency transportation program. Basically, what this offers is our about $1 million annual savings, as well an opportunity as a stepping stone for anyone interested within the fire service. We recently hired 31 members, all EMTs. They were put through an academy in August, and they were able to cover and get information of how to continue their work as EMTs to service the Anaheim residents. With the ambulance operator program, it will be transitioned within 2 phases. Phase 1 was started in September, and it transitioned ambulance into Station 1, Station 3, and Station 6. In 2022, we hope to conclude Station 2 and move into Stations 2, 5, and 9, and 11. At the moment, as we continue our transition program, Care Ambulance will continue to assist and answer any calls. So far, since the beginning of the program in September, we have already hit 32 events where our ambulance operators have been additionally staffed due to lack of resources. So it's great to have them on board and here serving our Anaheim community. Now, in case you are wondering if there's any changes, if you're currently part of our Paramedic program, there are no billing changes. Everything's going to remain the same to service our Anaheim residents. And for the Paramedic program, in case you are not aware of the Paramedic program, it is a program that the Anaheim Fire Department offers to our residents. For $43 a year, you can go ahead and sign up, and it covers a paramedic component. Now, the bill does get broken down into different factors. It does not cover the ambulance, however, your insurance may or may not cover it. So for more information regarding the Paramedic program, we do have a flyer in the back. We do have a coordinator that can answer any questions that you may have. And in case you're wondering if you're currently a member of the Paramedic program and where you can find out where you currently, if you are or not a member, you can see it right there. That's where you can find it on your utility bill. Now, Fire Prevention Week in October, Anaheim Fire and all nationwide, we have a campaign with our Fire Prevention, National Fire Prevention Association, and this year's campaign was Learn the Sounds of Safety. Basically, we want to go ahead and make sure that you are aware of the difference between your smoke alarm and your carbon monoxide. So a show of hand, who knows the difference between the smoke alarm and a carbon monoxide? You want to give it a try, sir?
Sure. Well, carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that could cause asphyxiation, and smoke is the combustion result of a fire.
Oh, you know your terminology. And it's true, our smoke alarms, they can sense danger and alert. So basically, if there's a fire for smoke, as there is a fire, the smoke rises to the air. That's why we encourage you to have working smoke alarms that will offer you a safe 2-minute escape route to get to safety. And we want to make sure that you have them in every bedroom and in the hallway, not in the kitchen and not in the bathroom, because those could be false alarms. Carbon monoxide, just like the gentleman mentioned, it is colorless and odorless. That typically we want to make sure that you have it at a bar this length or this height. Every vendor has different levels, but basically with the carbon monoxide, when you do have the gas, it goes from the floor up. So in that instance, you want to make sure that you do have a working carbon monoxide so you are alerted before it reaches to where you can go ahead and smell it. Again, we want to make sure you know the sounds of safety. If you have beeps recurrently in your smoke alarm, it could let you know, hey, there is an emergency, or you need to change the batteries or change the smoke alarm in and of itself. With carbon monoxides, you hear 4 beeps and it means that it's present in your home. You need to go outside and call 911. Now, we do offer a program for all of our homeowners, town homeowners. If you live in a mobile home park, we can go ahead and provide you with free smoke alarms for every bedroom and hallway in your home. However, due to COVID, we're not currently installing them. We are providing a drop-off service. So we are encouraging you, if you would like to sign up, we can go ahead and make that no-contact drop-off. Now, moving on to our CERT program and emergency preparedness. In September, we celebrated September as our National Preparedness Month. So our emergency preparedness team kind of put together a quick preparedness checklist of what you can have on hand. Water, food supplies, batteries, first aids. We really encourage you to kind of take a look at this, or we do have some information in the back. With the pandemic and some of the shortages in the supermarkets or in some of our retail stores, kind of gave us an insight of what potentially could happen in case of an emergency and what items you should have on hand just to make sure that you meet your and your family needs. And it can be as easy as what you can include in a backpack. Make sure you have some batteries, local maps. If you're a parent, for me, I just recently realized I need extra clothes and items for my child, so just kind of tailor your backpack and your needs according to your family. Now, something new that we want to make sure that we are introducing to our public is our Emergency Preparedness Symposium. This is a new opportunity for any of our Anaheim residents to come and take a quick basic program of, to get you prepared for any emergencies. Typically, the CERT program offers 9 modules to our residents to get them a little bit prepared for different opportunities. We understand 9 different days is a lot for some of our community members, so we want to provide this opportunity where it's a one day, 3 hours, and you will get hands-on experience on how to use properly an fire extinguisher, basic first aid, as well as how you can create your own emergency preparedness kit. I was told there are going to be goodies involved for you to walk away, but it's really going to be more of a hands-on opportunity for you to be prepared for any emergency. Again, it's only 3 hours. It's one time. If you sign up, you're going to be the first in Anaheim history to participate in this program, so we are very excited to offer this. Now, a few questions have come up. Is this offered in Spanish? The first pilot is not. We want to go ahead and fix all the kinks and see what works, and then we'll go ahead and transition. But our CERT program is, once it goes back in running, we will be offering that in Spanish as well, which is going to be our Listos program. So that is going to be a new component that we're introducing. We want to make sure that we can cater to all of our Anaheim community. And it is an 8-hour training. There's different components to it, but you walk away with a lot of knowledge. If you have any questions, you can follow us on, here's our website, and you can always follow us on our social media platforms. We do have information in the back that in case you have any questions, concerns, we'll be more than happy to answer you and get to your questions. All right. Do I have any questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
Just always curious about the paramedic membership program.
What is the purpose behind the paramedic membership fee, and why not tax an additional $1 or $2 on our taxes?
Whatever it takes. Yeah.
One, we definitely don't want to impose on the taxes. It's not our jurisdiction. Our jurisdiction is to really just save lives, and it's our way of trying to help the residents. You know, an emergency is something that comes at the most it's not a choice. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a choice.
We do want to give you your choice, but we want to make sure that we offer something to you in case of an emergency. It's not something that we don't want you to call 911. We hope you don't have to call 911, but we want to be able to help the families in need, and that's, I can't really tell you on the Anaheim Fire and Rescue component, but it is something that a lot of cities are incorporating it, and it's something that we've seen, it's been beneficial to some of our residents, and we'll continue to do so. If you want a little bit more information, I can get you someone to talk to within our fire department.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, I don't think the county charges. Well, I have property District 4, but also in the county, and had 2 different visits with paramedics and never got a charge. So I don't think the county charges at all. It's just.
So it is about $3.50 a month and adds up to $43 throughout the year.
Yeah, but those come in between times, so it's $7.50 or $7.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I said it's 7. So I guess you're right. There's only 6 of them.
And I can't speak on behalf of county, but I can definitely try to get you a little bit more information on Anaheim.
Because it's like $385 if you don't have it. I mean, it's expensive.
It is. It is. Thank you for your question. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Natalie. Now we have Sergeant Lilimoen with our Central Community Policing team to talk about crime trends and crime prevention.
My name is Mark Lillimon. I work at the Central District Community Policing Team. And I wanted to talk to you about a few different topics tonight. First of all, let's talk about some crime stats in the city of Anaheim. Crime stats are typically broken up into property crimes and persons crimes. And currently this year, persons are up by 4.42%. So we've seen a rise in homicides and aggravated assaults, but rapes and robberies are down. The property crimes, your thefts and whatnot, those are down by almost 7%. So That is one of the highest reported crimes that we see in the city is your thefts, your package thefts, your auto burglaries, stuff like that. But those are down 7% from last year. Some recent crime trends we're seeing are, and there's a flyer back there if you want to pick one up, are catalytic converters. I'm sure you guys have seen these on Nextdoor and social media. They're hot right now because the price of metal is up and people are stealing these off of cars. They're pretty expensive to replace too. So if you, in the back on the table, you can pick up a flyer that has some prevention tips. And also next to it is one on auto burglaries if you want to pick that up and read through it when you have some time. Another trend that we've been seeing recently are residential distraction burglaries. And this is where somebody will come to your door, and typically they're targeting elderly people. A lot of times it's going to be a female or somebody dressed as somebody who's official, like in maybe a vest. And what they're doing is distracting the homeowner at their front door while somebody goes around the back into their house and takes jewelry and whatnot out of their bedroom. There was a crew here in Anaheim that was doing that recently, and they did get arrested. So hopefully we'll see a decline in those. But just, keep an eye out on your elderly neighbors or on your street where you live. If you see any unusual activity or if somebody comes to your door trying to represent themselves from a utility or something, just be a little extra aware of those things. Next I'm going to talk about the blueprint. And this is something the police department developed earlier this year. Really what it did was it memorialized things that the police department was already doing. And it put into place, down on paper, our vision, our mission, and our values. And if you want to look at this in more detail, if you go on anaheim.net and you just search blueprint, you can see all of this up there yourself. You can read through it. Has our priorities and the things that we want to accomplish. It's just something to put down on paper for us to strive towards. Our goals: proactively impacting crime, strive to be a high-performing organization, and enhance community relations. And if you look at these, you can kind of see a breakdown of what we want to try to accomplish with each of those goals. We also have our expectations, and then the law enforcement code of ethics, which is something that every police officer memorizes and learns in the academy and recites it on end. Speaking of that, the police department is recruiting. We're hiring police officers. I don't have a slide, I don't think, or is it? There it is. It's coming up on the website. So if you want to find out more about that, if you go on anaheim.net and you search recruiting for the police department, we are currently hiring police officers, and we'll be actively hiring them until we get spots filled. Right now, it's just an ongoing hiring process. Next, I want to talk about Anaheim Confidential. And has anybody been to Anaheim Confidential before? What'd you think of it?
It's wonderful.
It is.
Very, very informative and
Yeah, I've always heard great things about it. This will be the third year that we're putting it on. It's a program that's it's a fundraiser for our Cops for Kids program. And what they do is they walk you through an actual homicide case by the actual homicide detectives that work that case. The tickets are $38. You get drinks and dinner along with it. And it's on Friday, November 5th, starting at 5 p.m. So if you want to get tickets to that, you can also go on the website. It's on Eventbrite. You can search for it there. This just came out today, so you guys are the first group to hear about this, the PACE class. Has anybody heard about PACE before? Has anybody been to PACE? What do you think of it?
It got cut short because of COVID.
You were in the last class, right?
Yes.
During COVID.
Yeah.
So you should have gotten an email. Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes.
No
So-
specific date or time yet.
So we're looking at February, hopefully, of next year. Typically, the PACE runs in February, starts in February. So we're shooting to start it back up in February. If you're interested in going, I have applications in the back. It's a 14-week class where you come to the police department on Tuesday nights for 3 hours. It's a little bit of a commitment. But if you talk to anybody who's been through it, everybody seems to really love the program. It's an in-depth look at the police department where they'll walk you through all the different details and the things that we do. You get to visit off-site locations and do all sorts of cool things. So if you're interested, I have some applications in the back. Just see me for those. And let's see, the last thing is Only other thing I have is we're on Facebook and Instagram, so if you're on there, follow us, and you can get updates about any incidents that are occurring or street closures and other major incidents. Does anybody have any questions? I think that's the first time nobody's asked a question. Not one.
I have
Okay.
one. I just thought of one.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, do you, okay, I'll come right out. Are you guys still enforcing the rules, laws?
Well, yeah. The question was, are we still enforcing laws? Yes.
Well,
Yes.
because one time I called, that was about maybe a few months ago, can't tell you the date, and they said, we're not enforcing that.
Do you know what it was that you were told, or what you were reporting?
It's been a while, but I
Yeah.
remember that. I mean,
It's-
and
if
I
you-
understand the pandemic, this lockdown, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure what, I mean, there's maybe some changes in the law recently, but if you think of it, you can contact me and I can look up and find out what it was.
Yeah.
I know in the past few years, there's been a lot of laws that have changed and, things that have changed, but yes, we still do enforce laws. What the consequences for may have changed. I know I've talked about this in the past where certain laws used to be felonies are now misdemeanors, and typically it results in just a citation, whereas in the past, they may have gone to jail. So,
How about street racing?
street racing, yeah, it's illegal to race cars on the street and to drive recklessly. That is something we do get a lot of calls about. We do participate in a countywide task force that goes out, joining up with other agencies and try to follow these groups around. They're very good about moving quickly, and when you can maybe catch one or two, but catching the whole group is very
They
difficult.
keep
So,
doing it on Catella.
yeah. So if you see anybody or hear anybody street racing, it's helpful to call it in and just report it right away so we can start sending people that way.
They've been doing that since the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Oh, yes, ma'am.
One more.
Yes.
You mentioned that you're looking to hire more police officers. How many are you looking to hire?
I don't know the number right now.
How many are there currently?
Currently, I believe there's about 365, and I'm not sure how many they've hired in the process, so where they should be. Right now, it's been an ongoing hiring process for about the past probably 6 months. So, yes, ma'am.
How many people have retired since March of 2020, when we were first told the shelter in place? How many officers retired since then?
I don't know. I know there has been retirements. There's pretty much retirements going on all the time. So we hire people almost constantly, and then people retire. So I don't know the numbers, though, how many retired. All right, thank you for your time.
Now we have Sandy Lozo from our Code Enforcement Department, and she's going to talk about our Community Care Response Team and provide us with code enforcement updates.
Good to see everybody. So I'll go ahead and talk about our Community Care Response Team that started in January of this year. It was a pilot program. We call it CCRT. So if you go to our webpage under Homelessness, you do have a link that you can go and kind of see the updated information as well as our map. So we did also do a 6-month review before our city council, and that is also posted online, so you can kind of see the first 6 months results. Obviously, we're already 10 months in. We are looking to continue that program into 2022. We have seen some positive results and kind of working on some adjustments as well. So if everybody understands this program, it is a reimagining how we interact with our homeless and not having our police be first responders when there's no criminal nexus. So if someone calls into our police department, there's no criminal activity, no nuisance activity, nothing, crime in progress or emergency, then they're going to take that call and send it over to our CCRT. Our CCRT goes out first, and we haven't seen calls where CCRT's out there and they need to have the police come out. So that's also a good thing, that they're actually able to handle the call. Since the program started, they've been averaging 3.8 people off the street every day into some type of sheltered environment, with an 89 to 90% retention rate. And so every day they're out there being able to help people into shelter and at least keep touching them more and building more trust with them, and maybe even helping them out in certain situations. So they are out 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And that's going to continue right now with those calls for service coming in. So we're real hopeful that that program is going to continue into the next calendar year. Another exciting thing, we have over 300 people in our shelters currently that would have otherwise been on the street. So that's encouraging. And then we also have had a lot of people placed into housing throughout the year. Since we last met, we did have in December of last year a project come online, and Andy Nagal's in the back from Community Development and a lot of his team efforts. The El Verano was a housing project that was completed over off of East and Lincoln, and that was the old Sandman Motel, and is now housed formerly homeless seniors with 50 units, I believe. So that's been encouraging, and that already got full. And then we also had Buena Esperanza, which was a motel conversion, the first in our city, over off of Magnolia and La Palma. Look at Andy. And that one also opened up this just recently, and we're getting people processed in there. And then they're also working on a project, I think it's Fillmore in Manchester, Orangewood. So we're continuing to get people off the street with a robust outreach program, getting them into sheltered environment or into other housing situations, and then getting them straight into housing. We're just trying to open up that freeway that we'd like to see. So pretty successful. The other thing that just happened recently at City Council was another project, pilot program that's going to be going on called Be Well OC. That is a facility that opened up in the city of Orange, and that is actually a private-public partnership with a lot of the hospitals to avoid people that are having mental health crisis or maybe need to be sobering up or maybe have a drug addiction to come into that facility. So currently it's been open since the beginning of the year, and a lot of our police departments and fire departments take people over there. CCRT takes some of our unhoused over there to get stabilized and then pick them up and take them to our shelters. And so now Be Well OC is, they proposed and the City Council approved a mobile unit into our city. So that program is going to be 7 days a week, 18 hours. And they're going to overlap with CCRT because this is to help, again, our police department with mental health calls coming in with no criminal nexus, housed or unhoused individuals. So they'll be able to complement our CCRT team because they're going to work from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. So they're going to be out there beyond when CCRT is out there. So if they come across an unhoused individual on a mental health call that comes into our police department, they'll be able to help get them stabilized at the facility and then contact CCRT to come get them in the morning to continue that sheltered environment and keep them stabilized. On the flip side, during the day, if CCRT has a call and someone needs or wants to go to Be Well OC, now the mobile unit can come by and not take CCRT out of service, which happens sometimes with a lot of calls coming in. So there's going to be some help there. And then we also see some potential to help on the prevention side where Be Well is going to be going to a lot of housed calls coming in. And so that may help maybe some people stay housed and not feel that they're in mental health crisis or their families don't know what to do and they wind up on the street. So we see a lot of potential with that. So our PD and fire are going to be working that program. They're hopeful to have that up and running by the end of the calendar year. And then I'll be helping out with them on the unhoused section of it to make sure we have some complements there and helping out, continue to help out our homeless neighbors. And then on the code enforcement side, our biggest update we're doing across all districts is regarding street vending. And that may be one of the calls you might have called into the PD because that, with the new state law, has been decriminalized, so there is no crime with street vending as far as criminal, misdemeanor, or otherwise. So our PD has no enforcement capability on street vending. With the new law, we did put in some regulations so they can get a permit with us. So we do have about 6 individuals that have a permit. All of them are for flower vending in certain parts of our city, and they are allowed. However, in the state law, if they are selling food, they still have to abide by the Orange County Health Department, and that's where we're running into some issues with the fruit vendors and a lot of taco stands right now. So according to the state law, the only people that have enforcement authority is the Orange County Health Officer at the Orange County Health Department. So even code enforcement, all we can do is enforce them not having a permit with us, which is an administrative fine. So it's pretty restrictive. But we've now teamed up with the Orange County Health Department to kind of help them out on that, because a lot of these street vendors, taco stands, we don't know where the food's coming, we don't know how it's being prepared, and that's the health risk that we're concerned about. So we started teaming up last week. So we have an Orange County Health Officer that comes 2 days a week and one night on the weekends when we can get it scheduled to help address a lot of those calls and locations that we're seeing throughout the city. We also in the resort area have a dedicated resort code officer that just started, and they've been helping out addressing kind of the vendors in our resort area as well. And that's just more on the education side and letting them know they have to get a permit or get a health permit with the Orange County Health Department if it's food related. So we've been working that. If you still see street vending or any complaints on that, still use your Anaheim Anytime or My Anaheim app. That still comes through us. We kind of prioritize those calls with the calls coming into the health department and make sure we're addressing those. And a lot of it not only has to deal with how the food's prepared, but also that they have to get these permits. And some of these taco stands are actually impacting the brick and mortar taco places. So there's some of that that's being impacted on some of our businesses in the community as well.
Question?
Sure.
So, particularly with the flower vendors, there's a lot of activities with people basically walking through traffic. You know, they'll park at an intersection, the minute the light turns red, they'll just start wandering through the lanes, and it's very dangerous when, you know, obviously the light turns green. Is that something the police department can enforce?
Yes, so we'll repeat since we're on video. The question is, what about like the flower vendors that are selling and weed in and out of traffic during, obviously, when there's traffic going on in cars? So that is illegal. You cannot go into traffic for anything, whether it's panhandling or sometimes we see people that maybe someone has passed away and they're trying to get donations on the corners. Nobody can be weaving in and out of traffic. That's actually a vehicle code that the PD will help us with. The ones that are permitted on the flower vendor side, they're very good about having their stand kind of set off the side of the sidewalk so they're not impeding. So the ones that have permits that we've checked on have been doing a really good job. It's the unpermitted ones we're struggling with. And then lastly, because I know in this district there's a lot of short-term rentals, and so I always want to be prepared for those questions. So we did have a requirement that came out in August of this year that those short-term rentals that have more than 10 occupancy level limit for people, they had to meet our sprinkler requirement. And so I can tell you that we had 121 of those STRs, and we got all of them at least to the point of 49 actually elected voluntarily to reduce their occupancy to 10 permanently. So they have to go online and change everything, their permit, everything goes down to 10. So a lot of them maybe had been at just the 11 and wanted to go down to the 10. So they have to now advertise at 10. They can only have 10, so we're working with them on that. There's 49 of those. There was 121 total that fit in above the 10 occupancy level. Not all of them were in this district, by the way. And then 72, the balance of them actually pulled fire permits to start that sprinkler process and or already got them finaled. It just depends on the fire and utilities on getting those sprinklers in there. But the requirement was they had to pull that permit and or reduce their occupancy down to 10 or fewer. And then I think in Sherwood's, we're still working on some of them moving out of Sherwood as they have the deadline next December. So we already have kind of 4 out of that area, and we're still working on the balance of those and working with those owners or whoever's buying those permits and transferring them to make sure they're meeting their requirements wherever else they go in the city. So that's all of my updates. Happy to answer a few questions.
I have one.
Yes.
What if the homeless, they don't want to go anywhere? What do you do about it?
So for some of the homeless neighbors that are a little service resistant right now, we're continuing to send out CCRT. We're having some actual progress. In fact, in the resort, we were able, with the new resort officer and CCRT teamed up with that officer, this last month and a half of working heavy in the resort, we got 4 people off the street that had been there for quite a while. And so the more touch points and even having fire department come out and maybe repair a wound of theirs and just kind of building that trust, we've seen some progression on that. So we're going to continue to do that. Obviously, it's not a crime to be homeless. But sometimes there may be crimes associated with being on the streets, and so we continue to address those. But our hope is that we continue to touch point them, and with Be Well, we're hoping that'll build even more trust to get more off the street.
Well, because there's a guy on the convalescent home, the care center right there on Euclid, he set up camp. The neighbor called him out and they called him to get out there, and the guy said he didn't want to go. So they left him there. So the owner said he's trespassing, am I correct?
If he's on
She
private
pulled his stuff
property.
out. Yeah.
So the other thing we're going to be piloting with our CCRT is we're noticing a lot of the calls that are left for PD to respond right now are trespassing. And normally trespassing for us is someone's on our property, we call the police and we have them arrested for trespassing on our property. But that's not the calls we get related to homeless neighbors. It's usually people calling because they see them on a vacant lot or on the railroads or Caltrans property. And so we're going to pilot a program to send CCRT out to those first and not police, even though it's a low-level crime, to see if CCRT can, one, do some more outreach, but then also give them the trespassing warning and let them know, and that's going to be a different conversation than a police officer giving a trespassing warning, to let them know you may not know, but you're on private property, and so the next call, if you stay here, may be for trespassing with the police. So that way it gives them another opportunity to, at least, if they're not quite ready yet, get our information and move so they don't get arrested. So we're trying to pilot that out next month.
Because they go into the neighborhoods. They're the ones that are breaking in. They are.
Yeah.
I've seen one, he was acting kind of weird. And then another neighbor, one guy laid on the street, never seen him before. Called the cops, they didn't come out. And the guy just got up, just wandering around.
Yeah, and see, that's where those calls we want to send over to Be Well OC if people are acting a little weird, but there's no crime if they're just talking to themselves on a corner or laying in a street, but then they get up and leave. So if you see that activity, still call it into PD, so we're tracking that information, and they can maybe send CCRT right now. And then as Be Well gets on online to help through the evening hours, we can get some people out there to talk with them. Thank you.
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't have any question about that, but I have something to tell you. My name is Mariana, and I live at Ponderosa, where Mr. Avelino grew up. Right? So I want to share with you something. On August 23rd, 2021, at 9:26, I used my Anaheim app to make a report about parking and other stuff. And I do the same thing on August 26th at 10 a.m. So in September 16, Mr. Maria Bayar came to my community and took pictures of everything, but she also said my name out. So I went, that day, I went to the code enforcement at City Hall. I have the proof here with my picture, you can see. And I spoke with someone in your team. He told me later that day, Mr. Mayo will call me. So it's October 14th or 13th, and nobody called me to tell me why Ms. Bayard do that. So now I have 3 problems in my community. I still have the parking problem, okay, and I have the problem with my neighbor, which every time that he saw me, he showed me his finger because he's obviously angry with me. And also, I don't feel trust anymore on you guys. So I'm a leader, I'm a community leader. So as a community leader, how I'm going to tell my neighbor? Use my Anaheim app and tell to the city what is wrong here in our community. If the public works, go and say their names. It's a problem with us, for us, pardon me. So I don't know what to do. I am still waiting for Mr. Mayo. So why Miss Maria Bayard tell my name out?
Okay, let me give you both my card and then we can talk offline in your particular neighborhood.
Okay,
And my apologies, that should not have
I'm
happened.
sorry for my English.
No, you're
That's
fine.
my second language, so I will.
I completely understood you.
Thank you.
Yes.
How's it do with shelter space? Is there currently shelter space for all groups of individuals who need to go to the shelter?
Yeah, that's a great question. The question was, how are we doing on our shelter space and availability for everybody and inclusive? And so even though we have close to 300 in our shelters right now, we have 426 beds. We still have some CDC guidelines with COVID where maybe some bunk beds are still not available just because of that 6 feet. We still want to protect people coming in. But we actually, our shelter at Salvation Army is the most vaccinated shelter in the entire county, so that's important. As well as we're doing rapid testing and checking everybody on a regular basis. But also we've created space at both shelters for everybody. So if you have if you're coupled up, if you have pets, LGBT community, males, females, even registered sex offenders are at one of our shelters as well. So we accept all kinds to make sure everybody has a place to be sheltered, and especially going into these winter months, that we continue to have availability.
Another question, is Buena Park shelter open yet?
The question is, the Buena Park shelter open yet? Yes, it has been open for quite a while, and I know they reached capacity because of COVID. They had to reduce their capacity and they were full for a little bit, but they do have an increase now where they have availability there, as well as the City of Placentia has a shelter, and then also City of Fullerton has a shelter as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Now we have Jennifer Hall from our City Clerk's Department to inform us about the redistricting process.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Like Sandy said, my name is Jennifer Hall. I'm the Assistant City Clerk, and I'm here to share some information about our current redistricting efforts. So for those of you who have been Anaheim residents for a while, you may recall Anaheim used to elect all of their council members at large across the whole city. However, in the mid-2010s, we went through a process of transitioning to by-district elections. And we had to go through a process of creating this district map, which you see up here on the slide, districts 1 through 6. And we went through a process in that time to create that map. When we created that map with the community involvement and engagement through a series of meetings, we had to use that map by using the 2010 census data. So the main premise under the Voting Rights Act is that the districts are equally populated based on total numbers of residents in those districts. So the 2010 census data was what we used when we created that map. If you all recall last year, 2020, there was a new census that came out, so thank you all for participating in that to make sure every resident was counted. And so now, with the release of that census data, there's a requirement across the entire country, not just here in Anaheim, but from federal level all the way down to school board level, to look at those district maps and see if any adjustments need to be made based on any changes in the population, whether certain areas increased, certain areas decreased, and so that we can continue to have districts that equally represent residents across the city of Anaheim. So the 2020 census was completed. Typically, the Census Bureau releases their data in March or February of the following year, so that would have been earlier this spring. Due to COVID, of course, we keep talking about that, but there were delays in the process. And so we just got our final numbers that were then adjusted by the state, and they just came out last month in September. So now we really have the true numbers that we'll be utilizing to move forward in determining what our district map is going to look like for the next 10 years. Okay. So we'll be using that data as we go on. So we are in the midst, we've already kicked off this process of looking at the map again and going through redistricting. So we're reaching out to communities across the city and holding meetings and coming to these district neighborhood meetings as well to share the information so that you can be engaged and informed and provide input back to us to help inform the process. Last month in September, we held individual meetings in all 6 districts as well as a virtual meeting to gather that community input on what your neighborhoods look like, what are your communities of interest, where might there be areas that need to stay together or where might be some recommended changes. And then submitting those comments and then using those to create new maps. So we are asking the community to submit any potential maps that they might develop to our office by October 22nd. The first time these maps, draft maps, will be submitted to City Council and the public for review is going to be at a public hearing on November 2nd. So we'll have all of that data. So any maps that are received by October 22nd will be presented at that time, but we'll continue to accept maps following that date as well, because as you can see, the process is ongoing. It's going to need to be concluded by April 17th of 2022. That's when we have to adopt a map. Council will adopt that map. And then that will be utilized in the 22 general municipal election, and then for the next 10 years until we go through this process all over again following the 2030 census. Once we have that public hearing on November 2nd, we're going to go back out and have another series of community meetings. So we'll be hosting 6 in-person meetings and another virtual component to review those draft maps, take input on those, see what you think. You like this map, you don't like this map, you want to move these lines, things along those, and to continue to receive additional draft maps during that time. So you do have that opportunity. Once we hit the beginning of the year, January, February, we'll be having additional city council public hearings to review those draft maps and finalize which one will then become adopted at that time, following discussions. Again, we have until April 17th to get that done according to the California Election Code. So we have several mapping tools on our website that you can look at. Some of them are simple, like a paper map kit. It looks like this. Right here, and we have them in the back of the room too, in English and in Spanish, and we have other languages available as well that can be obtained by contacting our office, and we'll have them at the community meetings. But what this does is it gives you each population unit of the city, and you can match those up and draw the lines accordingly. Online, you can also connect it to an Excel spreadsheet, and it will do the math for you to kind of make those population counts as equal as they can be. We also have some more extensive map-based tools, electronic options that will be coming online soon. We don't have them quite yet, but those are the ones that the professional demographers use as well. So if you're a little techie and you want to kind of get your hands in there and try out some different features, you can do that as well. But however you do it, we encourage you to submit your map. You can write it down, you can draw it, you can submit it to us by dropping it off at our office, submitting it via our email address in any way that you want to. But our website is anaheim.net. AnaheimRedistricting.org. So this is the public participation paper kit. We had them similarly during the last districting effort. So if you were involved at that point in time, it should look familiar. And then the more robust electronic maptitude and caliper options that do come in other languages. And we have tutorials and how-to guides on the website as well. So this is the website, AnaheimRedistricting.org. This is the one-stop shop. You can find all the information, a schedule of all the upcoming meetings, the outreach efforts, how to draw a map, where the draft maps will be posted once we receive them and put them forward for the city council meeting. And so that's just, I encourage you to go there, find information, email. We also have an email address, redistricting@anaheim.net. So we got org and net, so we get those two properly. But definitely submit questions, submit comments, submit maps, and we'll take those all in at that time. We also have comment cards, so if you don't want to do it via email or in that fashion on the website, we have these comment cards. You can give us some feedback on here about districts. We have some in the back, so feel free to fill them out, turn them into myself or City Clerk Teresa Bass while we're here, or drop them off at City Hall, or scan them, picture them, email them to us in any way, shape, or form. And then while I know you signed in for this meeting with Neighborhood Services, we do have a separate sign-in sheet in the back as well for our Notify Me email subscription list. So if you're interested in getting emails specific to the redistricting process, you can use that sign-up sheet and we can put you on that Notify Me subscription list as well. And then we won't spam you email, we just let you know when there's upcoming meetings, what the deadlines are for maps and things along those lines, so that you can continue to be engaged and have your voice heard in the process. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them now, or I'll be here through the end of the meeting as well.
How do residents benefit from redistricting?
So the question is, how do residents benefit from redistricting? And the benefit to that is that the districts remain equal in population, so that there is one representative representing the same number of people, and not one person who has to cover the concerns of 100,000 people, while maybe another person only has to cover the concerns of 25,000 people, because the workload there would be unbalanced. So it's for equal representation.
I thought we did that before.
So we did do that in 2016 when we adopted this map, but now that the 2020 census has come out, there has been some shifts in where people live within the city and people who may have left the city. And so certain areas have a higher population and certain other areas have a lower population, so we need to make those adjustments. Yes, sir.
Staying with 6 districts?
Yes, 6 districts. Any change to that would have to go back out to the voters as part of a charter amendment. Anything else? Okay, great, thank you.
Next, we have Andrew Marcus from our Public Utilities Department to talk to us about the conservation programs.
Thank you, Sandy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Marcus. I work for Anaheim Public Utilities. And how's everybody doing so far? Everybody's all right? We're almost, I think I'm the last one before we close out. So I'll make it fun. We'll go through it, and we'll make do. So as I mentioned, I work at Anaheim Public Utilities. So my role there is I oversee all of our residential energy and water efficiency programs. So that includes your rebate programs, your income qualified discount programs, and some of our direct installation programs that we offer. So I'll go through those tonight, and I'll make it quick, but I'd be happy to answer questions along the way. So about us, Anaheim Public Utilities, we're fortunate to have a publicly owned utility. As many of you are aware, we're an island in Edison territory, right? So if you have any neighbors or some friends and folks outside of Anaheim, they probably have Edison. They probably have another water district as well. So we're fortunate to have that. It's city-owned. So you as residents, you own your utility. Our representation is our city council. So we're fortunate in that respect. And our mission is to deliver safe, reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy and water to our Anaheim residents and businesses. So tonight, as I mentioned, we're going to go through some ways that you can conserve, ways you can save, and utilize some of the programs that we offer. We'll go through our water and energy programs, some of our income qualified programs, bill assistance, and just talk generally over sustainability initiatives that we're working on. So some of the programs that you can take advantage of, first and foremost, is our home utility checkup program. Have any of you heard of that program or have done it before? No one? Okay, good. So this program is a free service that we offer. We come out to the home and we help you identify ways to save, ways to conserve. We help you review your bill, answer any questions about your bill. We provide you with a survey that looks at your past energy usage trends over the past year. So help you identify where are some of those peak months. So usually it's summer, right? When we're using a lot of air conditioning. But really it's a way for you to walk through the house and we'll help you identify ways that you can save. So like for example, you got a refrigerator that's in the garage that's being used that's not full. Maybe it's time to replace that, or maybe it's time to get rid of that. So we look at things of that nature. We have appliance rebates. So if you're looking to replace an old dishwasher or a new air conditioner, it's time to, change out your ceiling fans. We offer rebates on our website that you could take advantage and get some money back towards those appliances. If you have an old refrigerator, we have refrigerator recycling. We offer a $50 rebate. We come by the house for free and take out that old one. Tree Power Program, we offer 6 free shade trees to our residents, and we'll deliver those trees for you. And some of the water elements, we have turf replacement and weather-based irrigation controllers. Those are rebates that we offer. So I'd be happy to go into more detail if you'd like after. Some of our income qualified programs, mainly our weatherization program is one that is more robust than the home utility checkup. So home utility checkup, as I mentioned, we come to the house, we help you identify. We also give you free LED light bulbs and shower heads, faucet aerators. But under the weatherization program, if you qualify for that, we'll give you more measures like we give free ceiling fans, AC tune-ups, new refrigerators, that sort of thing. So it's a little bit more robust. It's a great program to take advantage of. You get up to $1,000 worth of residential equipment and $500 for water. So one of those things is toilets. So I go home and I tell my wife, what did you talk about today? I said, installing new toilets. So anyways, that's a good program if you're interested in that. And then we have our leak repair rebate. So if you have a leak in your home and you need some assistance in paying that, we offer a $250 rebate for any leaks. And then we have some discount programs. So these are the programs that give you money off of your bill, just right off the top of your energy and water. So first is our senior, disabled, and veteran discount. So if you meet any of those qualifications as well as the income, you get a 10% discount on your electric and water. The next program is our Green Power discount, and that's a flat $10 off on your electric bill. But that one's only based on income. So we offer that alternative if you don't meet the senior, disabled, and veteran discount. And then lastly, we offer dusk to dawn lights. So if you have outdoor lighting issues at night where you walk out of your garage or your front yard, we give you free lights, and we also help you install them to help illuminate your yard during the evenings. The income guidelines I failed to mention are right here. So this is just for a family of 4. This is based on our OC median income. So that is $107,000. So you would have to make that or below in order to qualify. And that's just a general family of 4 number. We offer bill assistance programs. So this is in the case that you get your bill, right? We all get our bill every 2 months, and we try not to freak out too much, especially during the summers. But when you do have challenges in paying your bill, especially during this time with COVID, we saw a lot of challenges with work and things like that where customers needed some assistance. So we offer $250 bill credit, as well as $100 for electric and $100 for your water bill. So we have that. We have a LIHEAP program, or Low Income Home Energy Assistance. That's through Orange County, Community Action Partnership of Orange County, excuse me. So they offer bill pay assistance. So if you're behind on your bill, they also offer that. Medical Lifeline. That's if you have medical equipment in your home that you use. That's basically, for oxygen or having to have the air conditioner on for long periods of time. We do allow you to have a little bit more energy at the lower rate, so it does assist with your energy costs. So that's a good program if you need that. And then you're always welcome. We're always there to help you. So we can put you on monthly payment plans and work with you in order to, stretch out those bills. This is basically our customer service team can definitely walk you through all of these options if you call us. Yes, we have a question.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is that like a CPAP machine falls underneath the medical lifeline allowance.
You're right, yeah,
And
so
that's-
CPAP does
A lot
fall.
of people have that, but
Yeah.
they don't realize that they can get the discount. Right?
That's a great point, yeah. In addition to the other measures that I had mentioned, or medical equipment, CPAP machines do qualify. All you would need to do is just have your doctor fill out this form that we have and then send it to us. Thank you for mentioning that. So under our sustainability initiatives and our goals around sustainability, right now our electricity in our grid is 33% renewable, and we're looking to go to 60% by 2040. So we have ambitious goals. Our general manager likes to say we don't live in a blue or red state, we live in a green state. Really it's true when it comes to the utility world. We're in the thick of it and working around the energy efficiency, but also the renewable portfolio. We offer rebates for electric vehicles. So if you're looking at purchasing an EV down the road in the future, we offer rebates for your chargers. It's $400 or up to $1,000 for those rebates. And then we also go into our communities and our schools and offer energy and water efficiency education. And that's another element where we're trying to engage with the youth, engage with those kids to teach them around why it's important to conserve and why it's important to live sustainable lives. And I can't leave without mentioning Save Water. Right now it's, we're just going into the winter months, but the state is, in the majority of the state is in a drought. And so we want to provide that information to our residents and let you know that we have programs out there and help you conserve and help you save. Reducing water at your home. 60% of your water is outdoor. So how can you find ways to reduce your outdoor irrigation, replacing your lawn or replacing your turf, looking out for leaks, and using different sprinkler heads or different things that can irrigate your outdoor plants and things. So we have a variety of different programs that you're welcome to take advantage of, and reach out to us if you have any questions in doing that. And we also host a variety of different classes. So tomorrow night in downtown Anaheim at the Community Center, we're going to be hosting our first class. It's our Drought Tolerant Garden workshop. And so you're welcome to come out tomorrow night and learn a little bit about how you would establish a drought tolerant garden. And then in November in East Anaheim, we're going to talk about succulents and how you can beautify your yard with succulents and how beautiful that can turn out to be. So want to just express that these are great workshops, and you're welcome to join us. We had heard earlier from PD around customer safety, and I'm glad that they brought this up, because we also want to express that fraud is out there, and we would never go out and not have our badges or not have representation that we are the utility. So please, please do ask any folks that do knock on your door that state that they are a utility worker, that they show their badge, that they show that they are an approved contractor with us. So make sure you do that. And also I want to express there's phone scams that do go out there. So you may get calls from people alluding to the fact that they're Anaheim Public Utilities and you need to pay your bill and you're behind on your bill. And that's definitely not true. We would never call our customers and request payment from you. So if you ever get a call like that, hang up and give us a call and let us know, hey, was this you that tried reaching out to me? And our phone number is at the top corner of your bill. What they'll do is they'll call and say you owe us $250 or we're going to shut you off. And go down the street to a 7-Eleven or whatever and pick up what's called a green dot card and put that money on the card, and then call us back and with that number on the back of the card that you charged with cash or whatnot, and then that money would go directly to them. So that's how they do it. I've actually gone through the process, like up to that point of going to 7-Eleven with someone to see how they walk you through it or how they talk you through it. And so it's unbelievable how clever they can be on the phone. So just make sure if you get that gut feeling that's not true, hang up, give us a call to verify. With that, that's all I have. I'm more than happy to answer questions, and I'll be here at the end as well to help you as well.
I think all veterans should get a discount.
Yeah, veterans.
If not for the country, we
Yeah.
would be here. We should,
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of income, we gotta show them some appreciation. So I think all vets should get a discount.
Definitely, we'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Any questions? Wow.
Straightforward.
Cool.
That's straightforward.
Well, I'll be here at the end as well, so feel free to stop me. I'd be happy to walk you through anything that you may have.
Thank you all for being here, and I would like to see you guys all during our next round of meetings. Thank you and have a good evening. Bye.